SaaS Backwards is sponsored by Austin Lawrence Group, specializing in demand gen for SaaS. It sure is noisy. I deleted 100 emails from vendors just this morning. Your buyer has gotten better at ignoring you, and you're gonna need a big idea if you want to cut through all that clutter. Austin Lawrence is just the right agency to help you find it. So if your campaigns are falling on deaf eyeballs, let's talk. Visit austinlawrence.com today and let's build something bigger.
Welcome to the SaaS Backwards podcast, where we reverse engineer the success of fast-growing SaaS firms and explore strategies CMOs and CEOs are using to drive their businesses forward.
Welcome to SaaS Backwards, a podcast that helps SaaS CEOs and CMOs to accelerate growth and enhance profitability. My guest today is Olga Noha. She's the CMO of SplitMetrics. Hey, Olga, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me here.
Yep, and we're live from the Ascent Conference in San Francisco. And how's the conference treating you? Having a good experience?
Great. It's me too, and lots of great companies, and what's more important, wonderful people here.
Yeah, the in-person experience.
We were missing it so much.
Oh, I know, yeah, totally. Hey, so let's dig right in. I think you should tell us a little bit more about SplitMetrics. Tell us about the company, a little about your background, and then we'll dig into some questions.
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, Ken, I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for SplitMetrics. We are an ad tech organization offering mobile-first companies, those businesses that relate on mobile user acquisition significantly, an ecosystem of products and services to help them grow faster and easier. We're an Apple Search Ads partner. Our flagship platform is focused on Apple Search Ads management, automation, and optimization for larger companies on the market.
Yeah, so this is an interesting use case, the surfacing of applications on the App Store. So we're trying to help drive adoption. Is that essentially
That's true.
it?
Drive user acquisition, drive retention, adoption, and grow your mobile app faster.
So maybe not everybody in the audience is going to understand that. Why is that an important factor in success for a mobile app company?
Absolutely. There are businesses or organizations that operate only in mobile space, right? They have their mobile apps, and the success of their business either 100% or close to 100% relies on how they work with their users on mobile. There are other organizations that are available in the internet, but also on mobile devices. But again, with how the market is progressing and has progressed for the past decade towards mobile usage, a lot of businesses right now, I'm not saying all, but probably close to all, heavily depend on how they build their business on mobile.
So like a use case might be that for Babbel, they have a bus shelter ad or they advertise on my podcast, right? But you have to remember, so you go on to the App Store and you might search for it, right? That's where this product plays.
Yeah, because when you want to download an app, you either remember a brand and then search for a brand name, or you know the use case or your pain point that you want to address. You want to learn languages, or you want to learn playing piano or violin, right? And you're looking for an app for that purpose. And that's where SplitMetrics steps in, and that's why it's important to be efficient with that channel, with the mobile, right? Because if users are not able to find your app, they will find the app of your competitor. If you don't have good positions in the App Store, you are missing a good chunk of your market and your audience.
Got it. So let's talk a little bit about, as you built the product, how did we get to product market fit? How did you know you had it? And what were the biggest challenges to get there?
For SplitMetrics, we are working on a mobile market that is very dynamic. I would say still emerging, right? And it's shaping up. At some point, we just realized that organizations that spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars per month on their advertising in app stores they need much more advanced tools than they get through the core platform in order to not only manage their ads, but automate and optimize to make sure that those marketing dollars they are spending are spent with the best efficiency. And that's how the idea of creating such platform came up. We actually were the first company to build out a platform to automate and optimize Apple search ads. And the need was there. So that's the beauty of it. Working with mobile companies, we knew that the need was there. You always strive for efficiency. You always have KPIs, pretty tight KPIs, how much you can spend on user acquisition. And we were there to provide tools for that need that we were able to identify. When we released the platform and got some of the first users, we just made sure that our assumption was right, that it meets the demand of the users that we knew was there. And we achieved product market fit really fast. We didn't have to go rounds and rounds in order to.
It sounds like you're providing pretty sophisticated advertisers with
Absolutely.
the kind of tools they had elsewhere on a platform where they didn't have them at all. Is that accurate?
I would like to talk about it as more advanced tools that they were lacking. Of course, Apple itself provides tools to manage Apple search ads. But on our end, we added a layer of automation and optimization that, yes, wasn't available elsewhere.
Cool. Why don't we talk a little bit about go-to-market strategy? This is an enterprise sale, and that's different than a lot of the listeners of our podcast, but not all. But what's involved in your go-to-market? How are you finding opportunity in today's world?
Absolutely. So we rely on direct sales mostly, but also added just within the past 18 months, added the stream of channel sales. And we do a lot of co-marketing with our partners in order to promote both of our brands, in order to create some mutually beneficial opportunities. Partners in our space, like other vendors in our space, that we do not compete with head-to-head, but provide complementary solutions. And when it goes about our marketing strategy, it relies on demand capturing and creating demand. So when it goes about capturing demand, we are talking about those users that already have the need, that come to us and find us through organic search or our paid ads or some events that we can be part of. When we are talking about creating demand, well, all of us know that 97% of people do not have the needs today and now, right?
Hallelujah. So, you're absolutely right.
That's true.
It's great to hear a fellow marketer just go right to that, because I agree, there's only a handful of people in market any given time.
Yes.
So we have to get them to market.
So when we are only focused on capturing demand, we are talking about 3%, right? Our goal is not only to capture demand, of course, we don't want to miss them, right? High intent people, but create that demand so that when another 97%, when the timing is right, when the need is there, SplitMetrics is the first company they think of and the company that they go to. And
so how are you doing that? Let's talk about that.
We're talking about creating demand. We very significantly rely on content strategy and educational mission. Because as I mentioned before, the market we are working on is not stale, not mature yet. It's emergent. It's very dynamic, fast changing. Mobile marketers are always looking for ways to achieve their KPIs and bring the results easier and more cost effectively. So they always strive for some frameworks, best practices, cases and examples of how they could do what they want to do faster and easier. And that's where they turn to SplitMetrics as their resource that has the expertise. We've seen more Apple Search Ads accounts than any other organizations on the market. We've worked with so many companies that we know better what can work, what cannot, right? And we are very eager to share that experience. And this educational strategy is the foundation of everything we do in marketing. And basically the part of our DNA, we want to share this experience with our customers to help them become more successful.
So is your business like professional services as well as the product?
It includes the component of professional services, you're right. So we work with a lot of Apple Associates accounts for the product, right? But also we have professional services that works as an extension of the marketing team of our customers from both sides, right? And we release our benchmark reports where people can take a look at the averages on the markets that they're working on related to Apple Associates, right? We build frameworks, we build checklists, guides, and share that our customers and prospects basically with the community of mobile marketeers around SplitMetrics, because that's the value we want to provide to the audience. And then we're going to go about how we do that, right? ABM approach, account-based marketing approach is in place given the segment of organizations we are working with, right? Now, of course, this classic enterprise long cycle.
Is it a SaaS business model?
It is. Our products are delivered as software as a service.
It is. Because the enterprise and SaaS don't always go together, right?
Yeah, not necessarily. But in our case, that's exactly SaaS, and that's the topic of our podcast and relevant to the audience.
Cool. And so that would be like it's an annual subscription then
Yes.
to the products?
Yes.
Awesome. Is there an AI component to your product?
Absolutely.
Where does that play in?
Yeah, so that's part of our products. And I'll give you an example to the campaigns at scale, because some of our customers have hundreds of thousands of keywords they're bidding on, right? So those are huge accounts and a lot of efforts to work with that and, of course, optimize that. In our product, we have the tool called Bid Optimization Strategy that automatically for user acquisition managers, they don't have to manually adjust the bids, but the system based on the AI ML algorithms defines based on the goals identified by the marketeer what would be the best scenario, what would be the best bid for this keyword or group of keywords, and adjusts bids to reach the goals of the users.
Is there a opportunity to use the interactive AI like the ChatGPT model as well? And the reason I ask is that I see a lot of complex applications layering on this interaction for like reporting, right? To build dashboards and stuff like that, not necessarily to rethink the optimizations, but to make the reporting and dashboarding easier.
Right. It's not part of our product right now. And we build our roadmap based on customer voice. We rely significantly on customer voice. If we had that request from our customers, of course, we would offer that as part of our product. But now our user groups are pretty small. Like within the organization, we could have 1, 3, 5 users. It's not widespread throughout the company. And they require tools, like I mentioned, much more than BT-like models.
Fair enough. Tell me, by the way, how long have you been with these guys? How long have you been with SplitMetrics?
18 months.
So what are the things that you've learned in that 18 months that you would want to share with other people? So it sounds like there's already been a fair amount of lessons learned shared. But if you could summarize the top 2 or 3 things at this point working with SplitMetrics, what are the key learnings?
Yeah. I know your podcast is focused on fast-growing SaaS businesses, and that's exactly what SplitMetrics is. So my best advice would be focused on pivoting, because in order to grow fast, such organizations need to pivot in the right moment with the right area. It can be sometimes, right? It can be pivoting in terms of go-to-market or your product or even operational side of things. But that's from my experience with the SplitMetrics and other organizations, that's the way that would bring you to faster growth. When you feel that the market has changed, the customer expectations have changed, And what yesterday was bringing you the results today is no longer working that well, right? Plan your new pivot. And I'll give you an example, Ken. In our case, our pivot was focused on organizational structure of the company. Just recently, we restructured our sales team from 3 distributed teams focused on each on its product line into one joint, not even sales, but revenue organization that structured by pods focused on each geography. And each pod has the SDR, the account executive, CSM as part of it, all focused on a single goal, a single portfolio of customers or prospects that they would like to go after. And that seems like a small shift, but in a nutshell, it's a big difference because now all the team is focused on a single direction. They are going in a single direction. It opens up the opportunities for cross-sell, for easier customer acquisition. For customers, it drives additional value because all the people that they engage with within the organization are very much aligned and focused on how to provide how to make that prospect
So that's
successful.
really interesting alignment. So you have like the full life cycle from unknown prospect to customer all in one group.
And post-sales support, yes.
Yeah, that's really great. I think that's a great place to land our episode. Olga, thanks so much for joining us on SaaS Backwards. If people want to learn more about SplitMetrics or connect with you, how could they do that?
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me here. And visit SplitMetrics.com. Reach out on LinkedIn, Olga Noha, CMO at SplitMetrics. We'll be happy to connect and talk about your app growth.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you want to reach me, I'm on LinkedIn/in/Ken Lempit. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, please do so wherever you get your podcasts. Olga Noha, thanks again for a great
Thank
podcast.
you, Ken. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the SaaS Backwards podcast, brought to you by Austin Lawrence Group. We're a growth marketing agency that helps SaaS firms reduce churn, accelerate sales, and generate demand. Learn more about us at www.austinlawrence.com. You can email Ken Lempit at kl@austinlawrence.com about any SaaS marketing or customer retention subject. We hope you'll subscribe, and thanks again for listening.